Hello friends, let us now learn some important points about the next cardiomyopathy, which is restrictive cardiomyopathy. Right. In restrictive cardiomyopathy, here in restrictive cardiomyopathy, if you see the walls of the ventricles become stiff. Here the walls of the ventricles become stiff and they will resist normal filling during diastole. And as a result, here the patients will have diastolic dysfunction is seen. And the patient will have intact systolic function. And this is actually the rarest form of cardiomyopathy. It is a rarest form of cardiomyopathy. Now, what is the most common cause? Most common cause of restrictive cardiomyopathy is amyloidosis is the most common cause of restrictive cardiomyopathy. Others include radiation, heart disease. Then we have myocardial fibrosis after open heart surgery. If you see other causes which can cause restrictive cardiomyopathy are sarcoidosis, hemochromatosis, carcinoid syndrome, scleroderma, Loeffler's syndrome, glycogen deposition, then even deposition from Fabry's disease. Fabry's disease is mainly Fabry's disease, and we have neoplasms. All these will deposit their respective metabolites in the heart, thus making the heart stiffer. Now what is happening here? Because of here the heart muscle will become stiffer. Because of stiff heart muscle there is decreased diastolic function. So because of that the ventricles are unable to relax. Because the ventricles are unable to relax, this will increase the atrial pressure. This will also increase the left ventricular end diastolic pressure, and it will also increase the filling pressure of the ventricles. This increased filling pressure will cause this will result in elevated venous pressure. So as a result, this will result in pulmonary and systemic congestion. Here the clinical features, if you see, the patient will have predominant right heart failure with symptoms of ascites. There will be dependent edema, and there will be enlarged, tender and pulsatile liver. Then you will see presence of chest pain, which is secondary to angina. You will see chest pain secondary to angina, or chest pain which is similar to myocardial infarction. This secondary chest pain secondary to angina is most commonly seen in patients with amyloidosis. Here you will also see complications like you will see palpitations, okay, which are mainly due to atrial fibrillation. These palpitations due to atrial fibrillation are more common in restrictive cardiomyopathy. Then, if you see, 1/3 of the patients will also have thromboembolic events. They will have thromboembolic complications, like they will have pulmonary emboli. Next, if atrial fibrillation is present, then there will be high risk of left atrial clots. There will be high risk of left atrial clots, and systemic emboli will be present. There will be high risk of left atrial clots which can go into systemic emboli are present. Now, one more important thing is this increased venous pressure will also cause increase in jugular venous pressure also. One important thing about jugular venous pressure, if you see, the degree of elevation in jugular venous pressure will indicate the severity of impaired filling of right ventricle. The degree of increase in jugular venous pressure will indicate the severity of impaired ventricular filling. Okay, in JVP you will see presence of rapid Y descent is seen, which is the most predominant finding, and you will also see rapid X descent is also seen on JVP. Then you will also see presence of Kussmaul sign. And you will also see presence of heart sounds are seen, like you will see presence of S1 and S2. Loud S3 is also present. Right? Then sometimes you can also see murmurs due to mitral regurgitation and tricuspid regurgitation are seen. These are mainly secondary to myocardial disease. You can see murmurs of mitral and tricuspid regurgitation. Now, if you see the diagnosis. So, in the diagnosis, if you take chest X-ray, in the chest X-ray you will see mild cardiomegaly. And also you will see pulmonary congestion. You will see mild cardiomegaly and you will see pulmonary congestion. Then if you do EKG is you will see low voltage conduction disturbances are seen. And you will also see presence of Q waves are seen. Okay. Then if you do echocardiography you will see the myocardial texture which is representing the amyloidosis is seen, with thickening of all cardiac chambers is also seen. Thickening of all cardiac structures is also seen in echocardiography. There is thickening of all cardiac structures, and you will also see myocardial texture in amyloidosis. Then if you can also do endomyocardial biopsy. Actually, this endomyocardial biopsy is done to determine the etiology. It is done to determine etiology, and this is especially the investigation of choice for infiltrative restrictive cardiomyopathy. Okay, and then you can do cardiac MRI can be done, and if you do catheterization you will see presence of square root If you do catheterization, you will see presence of square root sign, and you will also see on catheterization you will see presence of elevated left and right sided filling pressures are increased. Okay, then what about the treatment? Treatment for restrictive cardiomyopathy, there is no good therapy. But if you see, this will ultimately, there is no good therapy. If you see the treatment, it will result in death from congestive heart failure or arrhythmias. Mostly this will result in death due to congestive cardiac failure and arrhythmias. You will have to treat the underlying cause. And then you should control the heart rate, and you should anticoagulate if atrial fibrillation, and you should give supportive care to the patient should be given, and you should also treat for congestive heart failures and arrhythmias. Then if you see, heart transplant can be done. Actually, this heart transplant is considered for congestive heart failure which is refractory to medical therapy. Congestive heart failure refractory to medical therapy, you can do heart transplantation. Okay, so this is about the restrictive cardiomyopathy. Thank you for watching.